Today, we're going to be reading Chapter 3, so buckle your seatbelt, it's quite the ride, and we'll see you on the other side. Chapter 3. Timon de Boer was filthy rich at the tender age of 56. He thought about the moments that had brought him here, scary thrills and shootouts, drug deals gone bad, suitcases of money, hundreds of kilos of harvested weed, or whatever it was they were peddling at the time. The good old days, that was the best way to describe it. Mass amounts of this and mass amounts of that. He had seen murders, opposition from adversaries, and the fortunes the business begot. Hell, he'd been through it all, except his wife's disease. Everything that he had gained in the material sense, the cars, the money, the contacts, the necessary muscle, none of that mattered. None of it meant a thing if he didn't have his wife, Lillian, who was gravely ill. And now that her biopsy had come back positive, the old Don found himself in a battle unlike anything that he'd ever experienced. It wouldn't be easy, he told himself. She'll go through a lot of pain. The doctors in Switzerland had said the window of opportunity was small. It'll be short-lived. You must get her in for treatment as soon as possible, or she'll never survive. Through the years, he had worked with many gangsters and profited millions from them. Because he treated his people with respect, loyalty, and kindness, Timon de Boer was rarely stabbed in the back. If a family member needed something, he provided it. Loans, not a problem, with interest, of course. As a rule of thumb, he took care of his people, and for that he got the respect he deserved. At 6'3", the old Don was an imposing figure. He had the blue eyes of a Siberian bobcat, the pronounced mouth of a barracuda, and the rosy cheeks of a robust Dutchman. With the disposition of Winston Churchill, he was a jaguar to his enemies. After all was said and done, his profits this year alone would exceed 4 million guilders. Only Lillian knew their exact fortune. The cash proceeds from 11 years of business were buried beneath the kitchen farmhouse in metal boxes 3 feet under the ceramic floor. Like her ancestors before her, Lillian buried their loot deep in the earth where it would be safe. Hidden in another area of the house, written in her illegible scrawl, were the logbooks holding testament to their gross fortune. Regardless, there would be more than enough to live on comfortably for the rest of their lives. "Are you feeling okay, Scotcha?" the Dutchman said to his wife. "Nothing to worry about, Leafia." Lillian held on to her side as she spoke. "The pain comes and goes. We will be leaving for Switzerland soon," he told her. In his flat on Monday, September 2nd, through a Bosch & Lomb stereo zoom 4 microscope, Pim Putman studied a bud of northern lights. Every cannabis smoker in Holland was talking about its potency. Not since the introduction of Super Skunk, a hydroponic strain out of America, had anyone seen the weed so powerful. The reviews in Amsterdam and Rotterdam were off the charts. Pim Putman had to see for himself what made these buds tick. Under the magnification, it looked like a field of shiitake mushrooms. A few tokes off this shit and you'll be in La La Land for sure, he thought inwardly. No less than 15 per gram wholesale, he said to himself, no questions asked. At that rate, he knew that the coffee shops would be selling it for 25 to 30 guilders per gram, an almost unheard of price. In his living room, the unusual Dutchman found himself surrounded by Ziploc bags containing different kinds of weed and hashish, red hair, orange bud, super skunk, Thai stick, purple haze, silver haze, AK-47, Sputnik Tabisla Katama, all in varying quantities. Still, Putnam was a relative small-timer. His flat provided little room for expansion. Time to unload some product, he thought. It won't be long before the fall harvest comes in. After that, I won't be able to get shit for my products. His real concern was the mob, who did not take kindly to independent contractors like him. Every year, about this time, he would venture out with one goal in mind, dump the whole lot. Usually it only took a couple of weeks, because he had to be careful not to draw the attention of gangsters who ran the town and wouldn't think twice about putting him in an early grave. Other than that, all that was left for him were the simple things in life, and bemoaning the fact that he had been rejected by every mob faction in South Holland. In the small world of his mind, Putnam took little heed to the fact that he was stabbing these assholes in the back by trading with different factions. Penn Putnam, freelancer, a simpleton really in this case, didn't realize that his shortcomings would stop him from making it big. Like many who dream about the proverbial winning lottery ticket, the unfortunate gangster had no realistic possibility of changing his fate. Monday night, in a hot bubble bath, Hannah Fondenberg marinated her overworked body. She wanted nothing more than to forget. About what? About everything, she told herself. Her mind had about all it could stand for one day. Sometimes she hated being a hairstylist. Every day you had to listen to all the bullshit. All day, day in, day out. It was the same crap. People would come into the shop and plop right down in your chair and start talking about their bastard boyfriends and cheating wives. At least hearing about others' problems had distracted her from her own personal nightmare. It was no use, she kept thinking. It's not going to do you any good to sit here and pout. Didn't work out, it's not going to. No matter what she tried, Jimmy's face kept flashing before her eyes. And when Jimmy's face receded, her father's appeared. Her father, the legendary Josh van den Berg, a man who'd owned dozens of whorehouses, a man who took care of women for a living. Although he badly wanted their relationship to succeed, she blamed him for its demise. She knew deep down that her father cared about her a great deal. He wanted to right the wrongs in their lives. But she just didn't know. He'd stolen her childhood, and she'd never forgotten it. It was also one of the reasons that he was so adamant about her living with him now. She knew this. She knew what he was thinking. It'll give you a chance to save some money. Get ahead in life. Then when he grew fearful, he would accost her with a barrage of stutters and innuendos. You don't want to wake up 30 years old and not have a place to call your own. Truthfully, she knew he was hoping it would bring them closer. Hannah fell back and let out a big sigh. She couldn't begin to describe the way she felt at this moment. She missed the American, missed his kisses, missed his company, missed his touch. What was it? My pride's getting in the way. Okay, you admitted it. What happened? They'd been so much in love. Ternosian happened, that's what. The city that sucked its people into its hell. She had only herself to blame. She'd brought him here. She'd known the risk. She'd understood the consequences. She'd gone against her father's better judgment. And then Constantine Vanderpool entered their lives. She knew the Sicilian Dutchman from the neighborhoods growing up as a child, before he'd taken over and amassed a fortune, becoming one of the most powerful men in South Holland. The Sicilian Dutchman was a sly, devious trickster whose heart pumped the cold, vigilant blood of a mafia hitman. How could she have let Jimmy go work for such a man? Now look at what's happened. The town's gone to hell. And Jimmy was now joined at the hip with Constantine. A knock on the bathroom door startled her. It was her father. Yeah, I'm on my way to the market. I just wanted to know if you needed anything. Hannah stood up on her elbows and said, if you could pick up some of that old cheese, Pa, and oh yeah, some of that yummy sunflower bread. You going out tonight? Maybe, Pa. Bubs might come over from fishing in. You be careful, you hear? It was so obvious when he was upset about something. I'll be cooking that duck if you and Bubs want to eat dinner tonight. There'll be plenty for everybody. We'll see. We'll probably go hang out at Kalashnikov or something, so don't wait up. After meeting with Rutger, Hunt was a nervous fucking wreck. A genuine fear for his life had overtaken him. A man was dead, and that man had been killed on his watch. The odds favored that Constantine would blame Rutger for the murder. Nevertheless, the situation was dicey at best. After all, these were hardcore criminals, and they didn't think twice about putting you in a hole if you fucked up. Hunt pictured Yari Fisser, the unruly gangster, and his sidekicks coming after him, shuttling him away to the villa where he would probably be hit with a million questions. And if they didn't like what they heard, Hunt knew that he'd perhaps suffer the same fate as Rutger. For the rest of the day, these thoughts clouded Hunt's mind. As he roamed Ternosian Central, hopping from pub to pub, from coffee shop to coffee shop, from coffee shop to pub, he turned his attention to his former home in Mississippi. His recent near-death experience had him yearning for the tranquil Gulf Coast environment where he had been raised. Despite his best efforts, the idea of turning himself in to the authorities kept rising in his head. If he'd be crazy enough to do it, they'd take him straight to the embassy, and U.S. Marshal would escort him away from this god-awful situation. Hell, he'd probably be on the next plane to America, where he'd face innumerable charges. At least he'll be alive and out of Ternosian, he said to himself. That's one way of looking at the picture. Then again, he could stay and hope things got better. Hope that Rutger would get off the jump. Hope that no more rip-offs occurred at the shop. Hope that his relationship with Hannah improved. A tough decision either way. He certainly didn't want to end up like Annie Fisser. So, for this reason alone, Hunt knew that he would break the promise that he kept for all these years. He knew that his father was rolling over in the grave. Once you place that call, boy, there will be no mulligan. And then when Hunt wouldn't listen, what the fuck are you doing? You got me spinning like a top down here. You're making a big mistake, boy. No, Dad, I know what I'm doing. I've told you, boy, don't mess this up. When they run, they screw it up every time. They call or come right back to their family or friends, and bam, they're caught. Can't tell you how many times I've seen it. Don't call home. Hunt chose to ignore his father's warnings and go with his gut. Remembering his best friend's number from years ago, he punched in the necessary digits and heard the familiar trill of the American ring, much different from the European flat monotone signal. I warned you. The sound of Danny's voice immediately put a stop to the torturous dance of butterflies residing deep within Hunt. Hello? What's up, bro? I'll bet you're busier than a one-legged stripper doing a table dance. Hunt figured the old expression they'd used together many times would elicit recognition. To whom he thought was William Dempsey, Hunt's younger brother, Danny replied, Funny asshole, what the fuck you doing anyway? No joke, man. Hunt felt the shank go in. It's me in the flesh. Well, not really, but close enough. Hunt heard silence on the other end of the line. Who he thought was William was not William at all, but a ghost. Oh my God, no way, Jimmy. That's right, big boy. Jimmy fucking Dempsey. Holy Christ, mother of God. I always knew it. You did it, you really did. What, fake my death? Yeah, I'll have to tell you about that sometime. I knew your ass didn't kill yourself. There was no fucking way. Why did you call me and let me know? I didn't want to get caught, and I didn't want to get anybody in trouble. Even on the phone, Hunt looked down in shame. It was the only way I knew how. And there was this Dutch girl telling me she could show me a new life. Hunt told Danny how he changed his name. So you call yourself Hunt now? Yeah, ain't it crazy? Listen, what I'm about to tell you is gonna blow your mind. Hunt braced himself. Maybe something had happened to one of his family members or a close mutual friend. You're a free man. What? That's right, bro, man. They dropped a case against you last year. Something called DNA evidence. Dropped? DNA evidence? The fuck is that? You know, the OJ thing. The OJ thing? Yeah, the juice, man, O.J. Simpson. You talking about the football player? Jesus Christ, man. Don't y'all have TV over there? Yeah, but I don't watch it much. What the fuck did OJ do anyway? Killed his fucking wife. But he got off. Anyway, forget him. Well, I don't understand. What's it got to do with my case? I guess what I'm trying to say is, it's something to do with the blood they found that night. DNA motherfucking A shit, I don't know. Come on, you ought to know. Your pops was a lawyer. Man, I'm clueless. Like I said, they found that DNA stuff. Said someone else did it. That's the way it happened. So how's it fit into my case? That means they found the guy who did it. Listen, motherfucker's in jail right now. You're free. Hunt could hardly believe his ears. Come to find out, the guy who killed Mary Kay Dotson had done a whole string of murders up in Tennessee. After he got arrested up there, they got a sample from his blood, sent it to some database, and just like that found his blood was a match for the killer. Look, drop what you're doing and come back home. Hunt waited for a second to say, believe me, I'm coming. That's why I called. Thought I'd be headed home in shackles. I'm gonna need a little time though. It's not that easy to just walk away, especially now. Sure it is. You get your ass on a plane right now. What, you broke? Sorta, and some other things. Fuck it, I'll buy your damn ticket. That's not the only thing. Let me get some biatch. Biatch? What's that? You know, a biatch. I don't know, man. I guess I've been away too long. Man, where the fuck you been hiding all these years? So what, you're speaking that German now? It's Dutch, actually. I guess a decade in a foreign country will do that to you. Fuck that girl, man. Chicks come and go all the time. Not this one. I do. I wish it was that simple. Listen, there's something else I need to tell you. Your brother works for me at the port. No way. Hunt pictured his brother all grown up. A man now. Ain't no bullshit. Last year your mama came to me and asked me to get him a job. He's a strong boy, let me tell you. Well, what's he look like now? He's tall like you and built like a Vander Holyfield. A Vander who? Holyfield, man, the champ. Oh my Jesus Christ, where the hell you been stuck in? Man, I feel like I'm talking Rip goddamn motherfucking Winkle. Well, Rip is from Holland. Hunt inserted, recognizing the name as Dutch. Great smart ass. Bring him along so y'all can both get back to reality. Both men shared a laugh at that. Hunt's head was spinning. When his mind finally wobbled to a stop, he said, listen, I'll be in touch in a couple of days. Look, man, I'm real sorry about, well, don't think for a minute I didn't think about calling home, you know. Don't worry about it, brother, man. Can't wait to see you. Get your shit straight. Get your motherfucking ass on that plane. Give me a call as soon as you know something. We'll be waiting to hear from you. As Hunt left the phone booth, he let out a primal scream for all to hear. Yes! The feeling he had was surreally similar to that when he arrived in Holland 9 years ago. Like he thought before, he was free. Perhaps he had played his cards right, perhaps not, but it now seemed that he was getting the second chance that he dreamed about. 9 years, an eternity in his mind. Hunt headed over to the Bundys to celebrate. He would probably stay there for most of the day, eating, drinking, smoking, relaxing. Agostino Macaringue, a Mozambican he befriended some years ago, was the bartender on call. The black men catered to a large crowd of Dutch, Belgians, and French. Hunt watched as the old African moved around the bar, reaching up or down and knowing right away if he had his hands on a bottle of Jack Daniels or Jim Beam. It was amazing, Hunt thought. He looked around and saw that cannabis smoke drape the pub. Within a couple of hours, however, It would be a jam-packed, and the smoke Hunt knew at that point would make it difficult to breathe. Jimi Hendrix, Foxy Lady, for the time being, kept the masses at bay. For the next few hours, Hunt stayed at the Bundys and hung out. He talked to locals, tourists, hippies, prostitutes, and other known hooligans, all the while sucking down cool Heinekens, thinking about Hannah, thinking about his family, thinking about returning home, getting the money wired over from Danny for his plane ticket. No sooner than he got up to leave, Hunt heard a familiar voice at the front entrance. He turned around and saw Ivar Van Lowe, the one the family called the Expediter. The gangster had two babes in his arms, both taller than him. One had long black hair and resembled Sandra Bullock. The other had short blonde hair and looked a bit like Bridget Nielsen. Ivar Van Lowe noticed the American sitting by himself over at the bar. "Hunt, my man, how's it hanging?" Hunt spun around on his bar stool, looked the ladies up and down and said, "A little lower than you, I see." He was also thinking, lucky bastard. The Expediter laughed at this. "Where's Rut?" In the Dutch way, with raised eyebrows, Hunt said, "Oh, for fuck's sake if I know. He's probably off getting fucked up somewhere. Haven't seen him since the thing at the shop." "Glad I missed that. Oh, big fucking mess, eh?" Playboy gangster told the women to take a hike. "When's Constantine gonna reopen the shop?" "I don't know, it's difficult to say. I guess he's waiting on Yari to get back from Prague before he makes a move." "So what are you doing in the meantime?" "Just waiting for the bottom to fall out, I guess," Hunt told him. "Listen, I got a proposition for you." "What?" "The boss wants to move some shit. A shipment of pure grade Nepalese, 100 kilos of our best." 100 kilos? That's a lot of fucking dope. "Yeah, it is. So why don't you keep your bloody voice down?" Hunt realized his mistake. The Playboy gangster looked around and then leaned in a little closer to the American. "Shit, tell me about it. How do you think I feel? I gotta get rid of the shit. There aren't any takers right now. I thought you might be able to help me out." Guardedly, Hunt asked, "Okay, but how can I help?" "I need a client. The boss is on my back and he wants to move the shit quick." Hunt contemplated the offer. He wasn't sure what to think about it. "Look," Ivar Van Lowe said, "it's my ass on the line too, you know." Hunt thought about how people came into town all the time looking for discounted deals involving large quantities. It was common knowledge. Normally these kinds of deals went down at the main shop at Pelmullingan. Hunt figured that with the connections he had made over the last decade, finding a willing buyer would be no problem at all. Hunt feigned a look of skepticism and said, "What kind of deal are we talking about?" "Listen, you gotta keep the deal on the down low. I got a reputation to uphold." "That's fine, whatever." "There's a finder's fee of 50,000 guilders if you come through. You just gotta keep your mouth shut. All you gotta do is find me a guy and set up the deal. I know you got the contacts, Hunt. We'll go together and then I'll handle it from there," the Expediter said, then, scoffing, "Money in the bank, baby." If you liked the video tonight, don't forget to hit the like and leave a comment down below. Or you can go back to the beginning of Dutch Coffee Shop, this playlist right here, or hit that little picture of me down there, subscribe to the channel. Otherwise, we'll see you on the other side.